you are thinking about moving to Central Washington to get away from the city for a better lifestyle, hold your horses. There might be some shocking lifestyle changes you haven't considered. In this video, we're going to go over some of the unexpected facts about living in Central Washington. First on our list today is climate. Most people moving from the rainy coast dream about being in the sunny, dry climate, but it doesn't always live up to its reputation. Central Washington does get its fair share of 300 days of sunshine a year, but this happens from spring to fall. Oftentimes, the summer months in July and August, we see triple-digit temperatures, and these hot temperatures mixed with poor air quality from wildfire smoke can really put a damper on your day. Your outside time will actually be a lot less than what you think during these months. The winter months can be really cold, gray, and snowy. A lot of retirees will actually snowbird for the harsh months of January and February. If you are here during these months, you need to prepare for icy roadways and shoveling your driveways. The nice thing about the snow in the area is it's actually really dry, and we only get 24 inches of it, so it is fairly easy to remove. Because snow happens every year, the area is really prepared for it, so schools and town does not close down. There really isn't any snow days in the Central Washington region. The climate is also very dry, and so this will heighten your allergies, and you'll be dealing with dry skin and peeling cuticles. It just kind of becomes part of your routine. I will say that the months of March, April, May, June, September, October really have some of the most delightful weather anybody can ask for. Cost of living. Yes, it is a lot cheaper to live in Central Washington, but that comes with a caveat, and we'll talk about that in a minute. Home prices are much more affordable depending on where you're coming from. You can still find homes in the $300,000 price range. In King County, Pierce County, Snohomish County, this is pretty much unheard of anymore. The sales tax in Central Washington is also much lower. For example, in the Wenatchee area, our sales tax is 8.8%, where the King County area, the sales tax is 10.25%. This will help you save a little bit every time you go out. Property taxes are also much lower than the Seattle area. Property taxes in the Seattle area is 1.025%, and the Wenatchee area is 0.97% of the assessed value of your home. Your costs for utilities will also drop. Although Seattle does have a very low utility rate compared to the nation, Chelan and Douglas County have the lowest rates in the country. Here is one thing that really shocked me about the affordability of things in Central Washington. Everything on Facebook or secondhand or used things are all outrageously priced. I don't know what it is, but people want a lot of money for their used items. All in all, living in Central Washington is going to be a lot more affordable than living in the Seattle area. Outdoor recreation. While Seattle is known for its proximity to the water, the Puget Sound, the lush green, Eastern Washington offers a different kind of outdoor experience. Expect more opportunities for activities like hiking, fishing, hunting, and camping in the Central Washington region. No matter where you live in Central Washington, it is easy to access outdoor recreation and the big benefits of not having to fight with the crowds. You'll need to get comfortable with being in the wilderness alone. You need to touch up on your skills and know how to interact with wildlife and rattlesnakes. People who live in Central Washington are really stewards of the land. We pick up trash, we bury our poop, and we make sure our fires are completely out. There's been many places in Washington state that have been closed down because people have not been responsible in the woods. If you are one of these people, you're not welcome in Central Washington. Employment opportunity. This is the caveat that goes with the cost of living. The job market in Central Washington is really lacking opportunity. Because of the rural population, there just aren't that many high-paying jobs out there. Not only are the amount of jobs that are out there limited, people get paid a lot less to do the same jobs as they would on the west side of the mountains. For an example, a plumber in Central Washington can expect to get paid anywhere from $18 to $28 per hour. In Seattle, that's closer to $40 to $60 per hour. There are some really great jobs coming to Central Washington with Microsoft building data centers in the area. But for right now, if you want a big income, you need to work remotely or start your own business. And I have somebody who can help you with that. Okay, so now let's talk about culture and community. The Seattle freeze is a real thing, and it's probably going to really shock you on how friendly people are in Central Washington. It might just be that people are a lot happier in Central Washington. People will hold the door for each other, and your cashier is going to have a conversation with you. It's really contagious, and you're going to find yourself becoming a little bit more friendly living in the area. All of Central Washington has a really strong sense of community, and you are going to find that no matter which community you decide to land in. What might be a disappointment, though, is the lack of things to do and entertainment. Each town kind of has its own perk, and you're going to want to consider what you want your lifestyle to look like when choosing which town to move to. For example, Leavenworth is going to be a little bit more lively with entertainment and nightlife, while Wenatchee or Ellensburg is going to be a little more family oriented. Okay, utility availability. The majority of a lot of homes in Central Washington are not on city sewer and water, which means you need to learn a little bit about wells and septic. Don't fret, these systems don't take too much to maintain, but if you do neglect them, they can become very costly. The good news about well and septic is you won't have monthly utility bills for your water and sewer, but you do need to save up for maintenance projects, or your septic every 3 to 5 years will need to be pumped, and that's about $400. Whether you are on city water or well water, you should consider getting a water softener. All of the water in Central Washington is hard, and that leaves buildup on any of your faucets, your toilets, inside your appliances, and it's really hard on your home. A water softener is just really a great way to protect your investment. Healthcare and services. Well, Confluence Health has a wide range of different facilities in Central Washington and does a great job with most concerns. If you have any sort of specialty treatment or want a second opinion about something, you're going to be traveling to Seattle, and this can lead to really long days in the car or spending the night and getting hotel rooms. Politics. While in history, Central Washington was a very red zone, this isn't really the case in most areas anymore. When I first moved to Central Washington, I felt like it was very conservative, but the more time I spent in the community, I started to realize that the blue people are just a lot more quiet. Today, I would really consider most of Central Washington to be purple, which is quite refreshing to see balance. Transportation, traffic, and commuting. The public transportation in Chelan and Douglas County are surprisingly good for the area. You can ride a bus anywhere around the Wenatchee area or out to the other towns such as Chelan or Leavenworth for free. But if you're moving to Kittitas County, that's kind of a different story. There really isn't any public transportation at all. If you are like most people in the area, you're probably going to be driving yourself from place to place, and you might be surprised to find out how much time you actually spend in the car. This is because everything is spread so far out here in Central Washington. In fact, it'll most likely take you longer to get to stores than it will in the metropolitan areas. And this is because all of our stores and services are kind of located in a hub. We don't have Safeway every couple of miles. Although your day-to-day commuting won't necessarily get shorter, you are going to find that moving away from the Seattle traffic is going to lower your stress and heighten your overall well-being. Because the area is so beautiful, a 1-hour drive feels like nothing in Central Washington. One downside to driving in Central Washington is the safety. The roads are really narrow and can be really dark, and at nighttime, the oncoming headlights can be blinding. When we go through freeze and thaw cycles in the wintertime, black ice can really build up quickly, and it's a really good idea to have studs on your tires. I also want to mention that you lose phone service in a lot of areas when driving around Central Washington Washington, even on main highways. This can be fairly nerve-wracking if you ever need to call for help. The education systems in the area have their pros and cons. One of the biggest pros is the class size. You will find that students get more one-on-one time with their teachers, and this is just because the schools are a lot smaller than they are in the Seattle area. The one downside to this is because the schools are so much smaller, there's just less opportunity and electives for kids to choose from in the schooling systems. Central Washington also doesn't have any of the specialty type schools that you will see in the King County, Seattle area. However, there are other schooling options such as online schooling or Running Start, which is really popular. That's where kids in high school can start taking college credits in high school. A kid that does really well can graduate high school with 2 years of college under their belt for free. Okay, let's talk about natural hazards. Where Seattle is prone to like earthquakes and flooding and landslides, Eastern Washington faces different hazards such as wildfires. Wildfires are a really big deal and can happen anywhere. A lightning strike, a trailer chain spark on the road, a gunshot, you name it. You need to really have a heightened awareness of everything you do during the dry months. Burn bans usually start in June and go until October, and this can really put a damper on camping. The fires in Central Washington also move very quickly. The land has years of mashed down undergrowth, and our fields have layers of dead grass and sagebrush that have piled up. You just add in a little bit of wind, and this fuels fire to move very quickly. It's essential to prepare for these risks by firewizing your properties, keeping your landscape green, and having a go bag. The good news about fire safety is it is widely practiced in Central Washington, and our fire departments do an amazing job. If this all sounds refreshing to you and you're ready to make the big move, get a hold of me. I'm Amanda Dallman, your Central Washington Realtor.